Go to Create, Polygon Primitives, Plane. We're going to change subdivision width and height to 1, and we're going to scale it out. I'm going to turn off the grid. Right click, go to Edge Mode, and extrude upwards. We're going to select that corner edge and we're going to bevel it. I gave it a width of 0.1 and 10 segments. Okay, you press Q to exit out of the tool. I'm just rotating the model right now. I'm going to assign a new material to our backdrop. Right click, go to Material Attributes, and I'm going to reduce the reflectivity and the specular roll-off and the eccentricity a little bit. Now I'm going to go to Create, Camera. I'm going to hit that power button 3 times. Press W and move it backwards and upwards a little bit. I'll hit the outliner button, and I will go into my panels, camera, panels, perspective camera 1. Now I'm just going to set on the resolution gate, expand the backdrop, I'm going to extend this window a little bit so we can see the full frame. It looks like we need to expand our backdrop a little bit more. I'm going to go into the render settings, switch to hardware 2.0, and change the preset to HD 1080. And right here you would pick your own image for the backdrop by going online and saving a picture. I just fast forwarded. Okay, now we're going to create some lights. So we go to Create, Lights, Ambient Light. I'm going to press W and move it upwards so we can just see the icon. It doesn't actually matter where you put the light, it goes everywhere. I'm just going to decrease that intensity to 0.2. Press 7 on your keyboard to activate your lights. I'm going to turn on the ambient occlusion shadows, and I will turn on shadows. So it's those two icons right there. Go to Create, Lights, Area Light. This will be our main light. And for this particular light, I'm going to place it the top left side. You can place it anywhere you like, but I choose to put it here. The larger you make your lights, the more light you will get in your scene. I'll press Command D to duplicate that light. Press W and I will move it behind my character to create the rim light. I'll mess with the direction of that light and the angle of it to get different effects. As you can see, you have a light source right behind the character, and you can see a rim of the light going on his shoulders and head. When I am happy with that, I will press Command D again, and I will duplicate that light. This time, this will be my fill light. And the purpose of this fill light is to decrease the harshness of the shadows that are created by the main light. I'll put it in front of the character where there are harsh shadows, and I will create a very, very low value. And if you have trouble selecting your light, you would have to go into object mode first, and then select your light. Right here, I'm just testing the values, see which values are more desirable. I selected all the parts of my character and I press Command G to group. I'll go into my outliner. As you can see, I have the group. I'll go down into my timeline and type in 500 in the second box. I will increase that time slider all the way up. Go to the very first frame. Go to Rotate Y. Right click on Rotate Y and click on Key Selected. I will go to the very last frame, 500. Right click on Rotate Y and type in 360. Right here, I'm just testing out the animation. I need to hit my graph editor. And right now, as you can see, there are ease in and ease outs in my keyframes, so I'm just going to select those two and then hit that button right there to make it linear. And it looks good. I just hit the perspective button and I just got to go back to my perspective camera 1. I'm just going to test it out real quick, make sure it's working properly, and it is working all right. Go back into my render settings. I got to make sure the renderable camera is camera 1. I got to give a file name for this file, and I got to switch the format to JPEG. I'm going to switch that name underscore number sign dot extension and make sure my end frame is at 500. I will go to Edit, Image Settings, and you got to pick a place to save your frames. So you have to make a new file, new folder, and call it whatever you want. Click on that folder and click Select. Click Accept and Close. Right click on the timeline and go to Play Blast option box and just make sure that your settings are as you see in the video. Right before I click Play Blast, I have to make sure that I have to turn off my lights, and I have to select in the empty space. Now I can do my Play Blast. Right click Play Blast option box, and just make sure that we have everything set correctly. I'm going to let it render, and when it's done rendering, okay, go to File, Save Image As, put it to JPEG, and put it in the folder where we want to save our frames. So I'm just going to check the folder where it's saving. And as you can see, it is adding in all our frames. And we should get 500 of them. Alright, they're all there. At this point, we can now exit out of the F check. Don't forget to save. At this point, we don't need Maya anymore. Alright, I'm going to open up Premiere because I think most of you guys are more familiar with Premiere than After Effects. Open up a new project. HDV is good. And click OK. I'm just going to save in just to stay organized. Go to File, Import, look for your frames, just select the first one and then select Image Sequence, then click OK. Now we just want to crop the composition so that it is full screen. Here we type in 130. Alright, looks fine. Now we want to click in the empty space and go to File, Export Media, and 720p at, you could either do H.264 or MOV. And then export.